玩家朋友，欢迎回来！
欢迎回来。
那这里是由 QT 为您直播的英雄联盟德玛西亚杯职业锦标赛。那我是今天解说，我是胡林，
我是小玉。
那刚刚
其实我觉得每次都介绍一遍，你不觉得有点累吗？
不是，因为他每次打那个字幕的时候，就想说，哦，那我应该说一下。
那就是心里面有强迫症嘛，这30。
对的，就因为他打字幕我看见了。然后刚刚也是在汉宫和 MD 就是前期非常平稳的一个对线发育之后，一波团战，感觉好像就改变了历史。
这样说吧，30分钟平稳发育，然后抓龙女一波 MD 失误被汉宫拿大龙，然后一直就是说是凭借这条大龙建立起了一定优势之后，就开始进行一个压制性作战，最终就是直接是压制到。
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to
感觉有一点压抑，感觉还是有。
Our English coverage of the Demacia Cup here on LPLE and, of course, brought to you in part by our friends at Games in Asia and Esports Heaven. My name is Rapid. I'm here with Nero, and we're hopping into our second game in our first best of 3 of the night. We're going to swap sides as Hangong Club come out of game number 1 victorious, and MD will take this one to a game number 3.
And having a Tristana is a big impact on the game, so actually there should be a lot of contest onto this AD carry, and we'll see how it goes in the picks and bans, as we already are there.
Yeah, exactly. Picks and bans coming your way, and with the strong champions for both sides probably being banned out, you can see there's not going to be an Orianna. Just CK way too good at farming that one out in game number 1. So avoiding that, taking out the Kassadin as well. And you can still see the Maokai ban. Hangong banned it in game 1. They're going to ban it here again in game number 2. The other pick that actually worked out pretty well was a Corki, but no bans for that champion. Oh, it's a lock-in on Alistar. Z is going to lock that one in, and I actually haven't seen Alistar played in the top lane in China just yet. And maybe he's just holding over the same summoner spells, but that could be top lane Cow coming out for one of the first times in the Chinese scene.
Yeah, I hope so, because sometimes China just does not want to play some champions that are played on the other regions, but they are so good. Like Morgana in the support was rarely even played in China. At some point in time it was there, but it was not as massive as in Europe, for example, or anywhere else. So yeah, that might be really interesting. And actually, coming back to Corki, he was doing so well. He was being ahead in farm by like 70 CS. He had more assists, more kills, but Tristana is just too strong. So that was the problem. And actually, not a lot of AD carries can be at the same level as Tristana, even if they are ahead.
Well, with the lock-in on that Alistar, what I want to see is if they lock in this Braum, because if Hangong go for this, this is guaranteed to be top lane Alistar. And oh, they're switching over, but it's still a support champion. It's locked in, and this is going to be one of, if not the first time, we get a chance to see top lane Alistar in a competitive Chinese match. So I'm excited to see this, because I still don't know exactly the style that they're going to play it. While initially it was played, Azazus played it in as top lane Trinity Force into Static Shiv, so we went with like the Lightning Cow. Whereas over in Korea it started out as more of just a, hey, you get the Trinity Force and then you just tank it up after that. So it's been transitioning into more of an ability power based top laner, where you build sort of the tanky top lane items like a Gragas would, but your kit just works out so much better when you stack up those AP items, because you do scale off that, even if the scaling isn't that good. And with the lock-in on Gragas, Punishment's going to lock that in for Brand Zero. Brand Zero had a great game on Gragas, so it's a big question mark over that Cow. Excited to see how that matchup will work out, and no mysteries here. It's going to be a lock-in on maybe Corki to take that one away from Punishment, but of course Punishment already took his Tristana away. Maybe BM1 gonna show him how it's done.
Yeah, and actually I'm really glad that this Alistar comes back into play, and not only in China but actually everywhere else, because it was such a massive champ like 2 years ago when Shushe was playing it in the middle lane, and it was first of all AD, then AP, then it got nerfed to pretty much nothing, and there we go, he comes back into the play. It will always find a place in the League of Legends, and it's such an interesting champion. You have the headbutt, so you can knock everyone away. You have the pulverize, so it's an AoE stun. You have the heal, you have the damage reduction. It's like a perfect champion to have right there.
Exactly, and the thing that's going to work out better is that with a lock-in on Kog'Maw, that All right, that's probably going to be mid lane Kog'Maw. I've seen more mid lane Kog'Maws in China than I have in seen mid lane Corki. So this is actually really exciting. So it should be mid lane Kog'Maw. If they want to switch it up and go Corki, that could be really cool because it is going to be most likely, yeah, there it is, the lock-in on Xerath for MD. So exciting to see some very strange picks coming out, and they're just making sure that the champions switch back to the places that they want them to go, because otherwise this is looking pretty weird, at least a big deviation from game number 1.
Yeah, definitely a lot of new picks coming in right here, and well, that's gonna be a really good game to watch, at least, and definitely having an Alistar and an AP Kog'Maw, that's two very different picks. Kog'Maw is extremely vulnerable, so to say, while on the other hand you have an Alistar who is almost immortal. And yeah, Xerath for the middle lane. Actually, we have seen a lot of Xerath like 2 weeks ago, and then it disappeared, and it comes back once again here in the Demacia Cup, so it's good to see him once again. However, we'll get to see if Angel Beats can land all the ultimates, because that is a really important thing.
Yeah, exactly. It is going to be all about those ultimates. I'm excited because Angel Beats actually played a spectacular Lulu. Wound up staying alive, power farming almost on the same level of Orianna, and was able to pick up a couple of very aggressive dive-based kills, even in just the 1v1 matchup. So clearly knows what he's doing. I'm excited. Plus, if you've never seen the manga, it's pretty awesome as well. So shoutouts to Angel Beats for being a pretty spectacular, even if it's not inside of the Demacia Cup. So I'm excited to get into this game. Of course, we do have a little bit of a delay before we hop into it, so hopefully we can get in as quickly as possible, because I want to get these games started.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, a little bit of a fun fact, I saw that they were behind on the loading bar. It was not live in the client, so they delayed themselves, I think.
So that's actually pretty weird. I'm not sure exactly how they do these games, but there is a delay before we start the game, so maybe just making sure that everything is all synced up regardless of exactly how it is. So that's actually pretty cool. So speaking of things that are pretty cool, we get top lane Alistar, mid lane Xerath, mid lane Kog'Maw, and then you also have the same Corki versus Tristana, but reversed this time. So still trying to see who exactly can come out on top now that the champions have been switched up.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll get to see if it was all Bume's fault that this Tristana was so massive, even though Corki was so huge. Well, or is it just the champions?
Exactly, like that's gonna be really cool to see, and because keep in mind it was so back and forth. Corki fed level 1 first blood, and then got the first blood for his team, and then they both died in the bottom lane fight, and then it was just back and forth all game long. But Tristana, just the range was too much to handle as the game drew on, so much bigger performance from Bume. So excited to see game number 2, and once again, like you said, just waiting out the delay period before we hop into this. This is only the first best of 2 series of the night, so stick around, because after MD versus Hangong Club, we move into what is definitely the highlight match of the night, as EDG, one of the teams from the top of LPL all season long, take on Team King, a team that has been dominating the LSPL. So we got that series coming up next, but first it's time for game number 2. As Hangong Club take on MD Esports.
Oh yeah, and after this first one, it should definitely be quite interesting. And maybe we'll get to see the 1-1, and then it's a best of 3, so the third deciding game. That'll be quite interesting. And actually, I'm missing the third games after all the games in LPL that ended with a tie.
Well, speaking of third games, MD actually qualified for, or made it into the round of 16 off of a third game series victory versus Ling. They went up winning 2-1, so they took out Ling, and then of course Hangong Clan actually took out Akfun. Both two lower LSPL teams. So making it here, keep in mind the winner of this game has to face off against King or EDG, which are just an entirely different class of top tier Chinese team. I'm excited for King. I want to see King in LPL next season. Like, those guys are monsters. Right up along with the new Energy Pacemaker teams, both of which are looking pretty good, even though they are a much different team. Excited to see, I think, Energy Pacemaker playing up against Starhorn in the quarterfinals. So it's a big progression being made through this tournament. Excited to see which one of these teams will advance to the quarterfinals.
All right, so yeah, actually getting to the quarterfinals is already a big achievement. So it's not like it's only about beating some teams at the very beginning. It's like they're gonna face either EDG or King later on.
Exactly, and that's kind of interesting to talk about because in case you guys are unfamiliar with the way that the bracket has worked out, this will mean that a team that is neither in LPL or LSPL will be in the quarterfinals of the Demacia Cup. That's pretty impressive, and granted they had a relatively easy trip here. They didn't have to face any LPL teams, at least not until the quarterfinals, so maybe not the most spectacular when you look at the bracket, but still nice to see a team from the TGA tournament make it all the way this far in the tournament.
And as I know that this will not be an easy task, and the chances for that happening are really low, I would love to see one of these teams actually beating EDG or King to get into the semifinals. That would be like the biggest thing that ever happened in the League of Legends scene.
Well, especially interesting is the upset potential in the next game between EDG and Snake, or King rather. Snake, another very good LSPL team. So you have to watch out. Both series, there's tons of upset potential, even when you talk about things that are a little bit further away. Now, Z is not having a good time in this top lane, so we are going to have to keep an eye on this now that we can talk about individual champion matchups. Gragas has some mini heals every few seconds, but Alistar's heals are a lot better, and it does appear that he is going for the attack damage Alistar top lane, rather than anything with like Rod of Ages or ability power. Now, Death Sentence going to land. There is the Unbreakable coming out from MD. Ignites down from both supports, and they will back away to lick their wounds.
Yeah, so a little bit of summoner spells burned in the bottom lane, but it's not nearly as aggressive as it was in the previous game. The first blood going down even before the minions spawned, I think, back then. So that was a really interesting one. Here, a little bit more passive play, but still,
nice,
we are waiting for this.
Nice headbutts outplay there. Actually knocks Gragas into the turret, so doing a good job at least keeping him honest, making sure he's not overextending himself too much and misplaying that lane. So somehow Z is keeping this one even and does have the massive sustain advantage because he did go for the Crystalline Flask due to Alistar's very high mana costs.
Oh yes, that definitely is the case, but still he's gonna be able to do quite a nice job. And what I wanted to add, well, early on, we are just waiting for the team fights to happen right here. With an Alistar, with an AP Kog'Maw, with a Xerath, I just want to see them all in the same place, and that will be definitely incredibly interesting.
So I think that's the second time Z has actually missed his Headbutt Pulverize combo, and then it's a ton of mana to run through. I think that's like 180 mana total in the combo. I'm not sure exactly on the early game mana costs, but the knock-up coming in from a masterful gank by Crow, but a perfect counter gank as well as Lee Sin's gonna be right there on time. Flash out from Braum. He's gonna have to get out of there, but Crow took a lot of damage too, and now still waiting to see if they want to go back in for this aggression.
Alright, so still nothing huge happening up until now, but a lot of aggression coming in.
That Flay actually pulled punishment out of his rocket jump. That's really difficult to do. So WY is at least being a very good support here to Bulme. So exciting to see once again the AD carry swaps to the other, each player picking the other's champion from game one. And it does appear, at least from this initial trade, that it is very, very even. But of course, I feel like most of that is off of these supports making big plays, maybe less off the AD carries, just right-clicking away.
Yeah, we do have the ganks coming down and the trades and summoner spells and everything, but still no kills out there. And once again, this game is gonna be extremely close.
MD looking to come in with a gank, and it is going to be Lee Sin land. It's the Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike. The leap in from Punishment is a little bit too ambitious. Needs one more auto attack, and no, the heel bait almost catches out Lee Sin. He's forced to jump in and flash out immediately. Punishment very low as well.
Alright, so a little bit of gold advantage on the side of MD though, actually. The farm difference is getting bigger and bigger, especially in the middle.
Waiting to come in here. Now Stand Behind Me is still there. Rocket Jump back, so Punishment. A lot of mobility in that bottom lane between Safeguard, Stand Behind Me, and Rocket Jump, so very, very mobile and able to avoid the return gank from Crow.
Definitely, we have the Rocket Jumps and the Valkyrie on the other hand, so both bottom lanes will use a lot of mobility right there, and the flashes and everything, every gap closer possible. And that's why I think that the junglers should focus on some other lanes by a little bit more. For example, in the middle lane, you have a Kog'Maw, then why not go for this Kog'Maw kill for Chi Xiaoyin?
Well, with the Kog'Maw Summoner spells, this is Flash Heal. A lot of Kog'Maws will go for either Flash Cleanse or Flash Ghost, just to make sure that they're either harder to lock down or faster to stay out of range, or even go for some aggressive chasing with their ultimates raining down. So the Flash Heal is pretty standard. It's what you expect out of a lot of mid laners, but maybe not what you'd expect from an AP Kog'Maw, because we have seen a lot of different Summoner spells being run there.
Yeah, and once again, Corki is coming out on top in CS in the bot. But this time around, it's BM sitting on Corki. So will it be the same story? Will Punishment actually be the better AD carry, even though he's falling behind?
Well, keep in mind, it's always Tristana, as long as you can get that Infinity Edge by, 25 minutes. You're still doing pretty well. It gets Death Sentence back in, and the Flay cancels the jump again! Punishment getting punished, and now it's actually a little bit of a rough space for MD to be in, as they lose their AD carry and may have lost some precious pressure on this bottom half of the map, but no jungle pressure there from Crow. He is not in the area, so won't be able to capitalize on that death with a dragon.
Yeah, and actually not a lot of pressure anywhere else on the map than just this bottom lane. And the first blood goes to the bottom lane of Hangong Club. Once again, Hangong Club getting clan, actually, getting the first blood in the game.
Knock up though off the invade. Crow's gonna dunk down on Lee Sin. Safeguard over the wall, no follow-up. Big invade though. Hangong clan will make it all the way deep into the jungle and steal away a red buff, kind of getting some revenge for how game number 1 started out. So for at least the meantime, it is going to be a big engager. Bottom lane, the TP's coming in. That's why they were going aggressive. Finished it out. Now, oh, Corki's going to die to the Ignite in the back line. Punishment still has some damage left to deal. And he's going to rocket jump, bounce his way all the way out of the fight. Now Z is left by himself. The masterful resets and repositioning there. Tristana, and they're actually going to serve it up to him. Punishment sneaking back in for the last hit, and now that after everything, that's a 2-1-1. Tristana getting the kills and coming back in that bottom lane.
Yeah, once again we do have 2 kills on a Tristana, so it's pretty much the same game that we have seen the previous time these two teams faced each other, which was just a couple of minutes ago, but a lot of different champions in the mid, top, and jungle. So the kills went down in the bottom lane, but actually just a while earlier, Chi Xiaoyin almost died right there in the jungle, in the top half of the map.
He almost died, but then he was able to say, all right, let's forget the top half, heading down bottom, and was able to bring that back. And now MD, they take Dragon, they take the fight, and now they're up about 2,000 gold here at the 10-minute mark, which is a great space to be sitting, especially when you want to get your Tristana up to maybe an earlier power spike to try to be on par with Hangong Corki. So really weird itemization though. Picked up a Zeal after having the pickaxe in the inventory. Punishment he's not going to complete either item, the Phantom Dancer, Static Shiv, or Infinity Edge anytime soon. Kind of weird to see the itemization sort of switch up there instead of prioritizing and just rushing one.
Well, actually, he's just going for the momentum in the bottom lane, maybe trying to go for a follow-up kill immediately after he comes back to the lane. But
poor Z is going to turn on his invincibility, which gives him a ton of damage reduction. But can he make it out of here in time and alive? And the answer is, of course, yes, it's Alistar. How can you kill what takes no damage? Turns out it's pretty difficult.
So MD, actually, they come out on top, but I'm still waiting for this big fight to happen. And CK didn't even take part in any single fight up until now, so...
And somewhat surprisingly, in the bottom half, Crow comes in for a, well, apparently effective gank on a punishment. Don't think we have a replay up, but... Nice positioning once again. Crow finding his first kill of the game. This has actually been a very low kill game early on. Only 5 in 12 minutes. So punishment,
well,
getting punished again.
Compared to what we have in the previous game, of course, but it still is a lot of kills. Like the 12th minute. So yeah, the AP Kog'Maw has yet to show something really big because it was picked in LPL, I think that also in Demacia Cup, but it wasn't too successful in any of these games.
Oh, and here's actually the replay. or Corki rather, he's going to Valkyrie back out. Bume is a little bit of danger here, but he's got the turnaround damage, and look at him just push it out. Great positioning by Jarvan, and like that Corki damage is just ridiculous. So incredible outplay there, just way too aggressive. Punishment once again, getting punished for being so aggressive without enough backup.
And, well, this game extremely close once again.
Again, he goes into a 1v2. That's just not where he needs to be. Top lane, though, Crow is going to come in looking for the knockup, pass up the body slam. Does get the knockup. Z doesn't really have all that much mana. Maybe could have taken him down, but he's just way too low on mana. Still looking to get any mana regen. And really, that's not really in the Alistar build. Usually, you just go for flat mana, and then once you use all your mana up, you just head back to base.
Yep, and that's actually a nice tactic, but, well, Z has not really been doing too well in this top lane. Actually, he teleported to the bot and then just died right there, so actually you can kill what takes no damage, it appears.
I mean, maybe. He TP'd bottom for that death, though, so, like you said, he's 1v3 is not really going to be something any champion wants to fight. Temporary invulnerability or not. So, early TP is not working out for Hangong clan. And MD with a nice turnaround in the bottom lane. Still need to watch out for their AD carry. Punishment having some questionable positioning. But still doing very well. Will still be a little bit delayed from her item spike after kind of diversifying.
Alright, so probably there's gonna be the big wait for the dragon until anything big happens again, but 2-2-1 on the Tristana.
Or Brand Zero is going to go hunting here. Needs a couple more auto attacks. The explosive cask is not in range for the kill, so in health range for the kill. It wasn't too threatening, but still it's going to push Jarvan out of the jungle, and oh, the flash in, no body slam here, and he misses it. Little over aggressive there. Not quite what the doctor ordered there for Jarvan, and now he's gonna get turned back around on. The barrel is not able to be detonated in time as Z's coming back down from the bottom, from the top lane, and now Dragus is in a horrible position. The AP Kog'Maw damage even coming in at the last second. It's a kill for the top lane Alistar off of a very over aggressive dive from Brand Zero.
Yeah, and actually Brand Zero is always so close to getting a kill, but fails it somehow onto Z, onto Crow, and finally. Wow, the aggressiveness coming out from both teams actually right here. Punishment getting caught in the bottom lane. Brand Zero just going full ham between two turrets.
I feel like this is really a reaction between, okay, so MD got really, I don't want to say lucky, but they were able to win a very early team fight down bottom lane and turn around Z's teleport. And now they're like, hey, we have an advantage. We can push this advantage and do something with it, and then they just get way too over-aggressive and throw it away. So Punishment dies, Brand Zero dies, and now it's right back to tied at 3-3, and the semblance of a gold advantage that MD had early on is just not there anymore. So big turnarounds, you can expect to see that from the Spirit of Spectral Wraith picked up by Kog'Maw, so he's going to be AFK farming incredibly hard, and he does actually have the advantage over Angel Beats Xerath. So CS is a big thing for Hangong Clan. And now, MD's going to start the engage with Lee Sin jumping in onto the back line. But all it's going to take is one more auto attack before Corki grabs the first kill of this fight. The jump out, the attempt at the escape there, as Punishment actually finds the kill onto Crow. So still the Xerath kill coming out. Will it be able to snipe Punishment down in the Tri-Burst? Looks like the answer is no. And now Z only has a few more seconds left on his ultimate before he needs some backup coming his way. And poor Z stunned up and taken down. It's Angel Beats for the follow-up kill. 3 for 0 exchange. Excuse me. Very strong. Or no, it's 3 for 1. Believe Lee Sin died. So 3 for 1. A nice team fight, but can MD secure this dragon? Still looking for the damage over the wall there. Look at CK. He's almost dead off of just one combo. It's MD. He's gonna jump over and finds the re-jump, the reset on the jump. Back over the wall. Big team fight plays from MD, giving him a dragon and the win.
Yeah, so it started so well for Hangong Clan actually at the very beginning. BM getting a kill on towards Lee Sin, but not much that they could really pull off after that. And even CK went down right there. Unfortunate, really unfortunate, because Kog'Maw was starting to get actually a little bit fed with the CS getting all the jungle camps too. But in the end, he just goes down, and once again, this is gonna be Angel Beats coming out on top in the middle lane. And actually, I just wanted to say before this fight started that both Angel Beats or CK didn't really do anything up until then, because Xerath, he didn't even throw out an ult to any other lane or to anywhere else. He was just sitting in the mid and farming up.
But all that farming up definitely paid off when he comes down to the Dragon Pit, finds 2 kills, and that's the big difference between both of these guys. CK had just bought his Spirit of the Spectral Wraith, so he has said, hey, I just bought a farming item, let's go farm. And you can see Xerath is just like, I could just bought a needlessly large rod. Turns out he wanted to fight, and he did pick up 2 kills there. So some big trades and a big swing again for MD. We'll see if they keep this one instead of throwing it away.
So 3 kills are at advantage right now, and the Dragon went in their favor, and they do have a big gold advantage. Actually, it's 4k, much more than I expected it to be.
BM1 or Bulme is not in a great spot. The Glacial Fissure misses Relly. A little bit of a misplay there. Can't quite find the pick on to Corki. MD, they go aggressive, but once again, they don't manage to capitalize off the back of that.
And the 20th minute is not even there, so MD do have a little bit of an advantage, but Hangong Clan, even if they go down, it's not gonna be as massive as it was in the previous game when Angel Beats went down at like 35 minutes and he had
now Punishment is gonna be in a rough spot, but he does rocket jump back out, so he'll be safe and sound for now. But no, Corki is just behind enemy lines. No more saving Primate Bulme. Now the Xerath ultimate coming down, sniping out CK. He's dead. No follow-up kill on to WY, but holy cow, MD. Where was this teamfight presence in game 1?
Well, maybe it came with Tristana. It was for Hangong Clan in the previous game, but right now, it is Punishment sitting on Tristana, so he'll be doing quite well.
And now off the back of that teamfight win again, MD pushing their advantage, but not overextending. So nice to see maybe a little bit of an adjustment from the early game, where they got an advantage, threw it away, and now this time that they have one, they take the turret and back out, not staying for the inhibitor.
And yeah, the question before the game was, will Angel Beats be able to hit all the Xerath ultimates? He did hit one this time, so it's really good. Got the kill. And MD, they capitalize so much on that. They are getting all the turrets, all the dragons, and Hangong Clan, what do they have? No turrets at all. so far behind in gold, and pretty much they find themselves helpless in the teamfights too.
Now, they do have a 30 CS advantage on Corki. They're even in CS pretty much everywhere else, with the exception of the jungle, where once again they're ahead. And top lane, where Z is actually not doing that badly, still has yet to hit that Trinity Force power spike, which he really, really needs. Like, they need a performance from Z's top lane Alistar, because it really hasn't shown up so far.
Alright, so we do have the static ship on punishment already, but the Infinity Edge is still not there, and in a previous game it was the Infinity Edge that was the first item bought for the Tristana. So some kind of a different pathway chosen by him.
A little bit of a different pathway, and notice the incredible double pickaxe build from MD, or from Punishment rather. Little bit mysterious, you know. I'm thinking to myself, the double pickaxes, huh? Interesting, because why wouldn't you just buy a critical cloak and capitalize on that additional crit chance? Like, that seems to me to be a great option. Needs more damage. Goes for double pickaxe. Pickaxe traditionally is a terrible item for AD carries because it builds into bad things, like you need Last Whisper and Infinity Edge. But if you go for that, then you never have a... traditionally, if you build Infinity Edge, you want attack speed with that to maximize your crit chance. But then you're stuck building Last Whisper, which is, you know, more of like a Bloodthirster kind of item to build for those Legolas builds. So strange itemization, but hey, it's working out. It's 4-2 and 4. But the big guy I'm going to be watching is Angel Beats. He had a great Lulu game, even though his team lost, and now his Xerath is on fire.
Yeah, 303 is definitely a big thing. However, he does have this shutdown bonus on him if he dies. He has to watch out a little bit.
Lands on to Relly, pulls him under the turret. He will use the stand behind me, and does land a nice Glacial Fissure. And just look at the damage Angel Beats is putting out, sniping down Jarvan at the very end. Can he find the pickoff on a CK? No. Able to get out just in time. Crow dies to that Xerath poke. Angel Beats with an incredible game. No longer a ban from Colorado. He is 4-0 and 3. After all of that, the Valkyrie back isn't enough. One Valkyrie or one rocket jump. The second, the third, and Punishment's going all the way, and he gets that triple kill. Oh baby, that's Tristana for you. Going all the way through. A little bit too aggressive, but hey man, he made it count.
Yeah, and actually look at the realized kill participation. That's quite huge right there. He's always there. He's always dealing the CC, a little bit of damage, and helping Punishment be in the place he is.
Man, that's some ridiculous Tristana. You have to have a lot of inside knowledge of your champion to just say, look, this is the potential that I have. Because keep in mind, Punishment tried the same thing earlier and wound up just feeding super hard from jumping into the entire enemy team. So still some questionable plays, but that one definitely looked pretty sexy. He wound up getting himself 3 kills and the completion of that Infinity Edge.
Yeah, and actually, look at that. MD went for the bottom lane and inhibitor turret after this fight, and they didn't really manage to bring it down.
No, Angel Beats finds PM1 there. Will he find it? Yes, he snipes him through the Valkyrie. Angel Beats looking just as good as the show he's named after.
Okay, so yeah, they actually get it. I thought that all of them backed away to the dragon. But yeah, the inhibitor in the middle is still alive, and they could have just brought it down.
Man, CK's AP Kog'Maw is just not paying off. He picked up the Spirit of the Spectral Wraith for some extra farm and gold, but he's just not, like, he's maybe better at farming neutral camps, but he's certainly not better at farming champions. Whereas Angel Beats has just had his number every single time they face off. It's almost always a dead Kog'Maw.
Yeah, and it's just another time that AP Kog'Maw is not working in the Chinese leagues or tournaments. We have seen him multiple times, we have seen him fail multiple times, and CK is just another one of these. That's really unfortunate, because this champion has a lot of potential, but you need to get to the late game, and going up against MD with a 7-3-5 Tristana at this moment, with a Xerath that's just completely unstoppable, you're not gonna get to this late game, you're not gonna get to the point where you are finally useful.
Oh man, this game is definitely looking a little bit one-sided. You can just see, look at HLB's, holy hell, Punishment just blows him up. He didn't even have to ult, he just landed the crit and now might be looking for a follow-up kill. I'm not sure what's happening with the camera there, so see if we can get that back on par. Just look at that carry lineup. It's just ridiculous. Alistar, a little bit too tanky, does headbutt Punishment back over the wall, but that's exactly where he wants to be. He's got the rest of him, and the stun will land. It's a bad day to be AP Kog'Maw. CK going down again. And with that, it's just basically all she wrote for MD as they will take game number 2. Tie the series up, taking it to a game number 3 between themselves and Hangong Clan. Game number 2 is in the record books, so stick around. We'll be back with our 3rd game of the night. The Demacia Cup continues, of course, with this English. Maybe mid lane Kog'Maw. I've seen more mid lane Kog'Maws in China than I have in seen mid lane Corki. So this is actually really exciting. So it should be mid lane Kog'Maw. If they want to switch it up and go Corki, that could be really cool because it is going to be most likely. Yeah, there it is, the lock-in on Xerath for MD. So exciting to see some very strange picks coming out, and they're just making sure that the champions switch back to the places that they want them to go, because otherwise this is looking pretty weird, at least a big deviation from game number 1.
Yeah, definitely a lot of new picks coming in right here, and well, that's gonna be a really good game to watch, at least, and definitely having an Alistar and an AP Kog'Maw, that's 2 very different picks. Kog'Maw is extremely vulnerable, so to say, while on the other hand you have an Alistar who is almost immortal. And yeah, Xerath for the middle lane. Actually, we have seen a lot of Xerath like 2 weeks ago, and then it disappeared, and it comes back once again here in the Demacia Cup, so it's good to see him once again. However, we'll get to see if Angel Beats can land all the impact on the game, so actually there should be a lot of contest onto this AD carry, and we'll see how it goes in the picks and bans, as we already are there.
Yeah, exactly. Picks and bans coming your way, and with the strong champions for both sides probably being banned out, you can see there's not going to be an Orianna. Just CK way too good at farming that one out in game number 1, so avoiding that, taking out the Kassadin as well, and you can still see the Maokai ban. Hangong banned it in game 1. They're going to ban it here again in game number 2. The other pick that actually worked out pretty well was a Corki, but no bans for that champion. Oh, it's a lock-in on Alistar. Z is going to lock that one in, and I actually haven't seen Alistar played in the top lane in China just yet. And maybe he's just holding over the same summoner spells, but that could be top lane Cow coming out for one of the first times in the Chinese scene.
Yeah, I hope so, because sometimes China just does not want to play some champions that are played on the other regions, but they are so good. Like Morgana in the support was rarely even played in China. At some point in time it was there, but it was not as massive as in Europe, for example, or anywhere else. So yeah, that might be really interesting. And actually, coming back to Corki, he was doing so well. He was being ahead in farm by like 70 CS. He had more assists, more kills, but Tristana is just too strong. So that was the problem. And actually, not a lot of AD carries can be at the same level as Tristana, even if they are ahead.
Well, with the lock-in on that Alistar, what I want to see is if they lock in this Braum, because if Hangong go for this, this is guaranteed to be top lane Alistar. And oh, they're switching over, but it's still a support champion. It's locked in, and this is going to be one of, if not the first time, we get a chance to see top lane Alistar in a competitive Chinese match. So I'm excited to see this because I still don't know exactly the style that they're going to play it. While initially it was played, Azazus played it in as top lane Trinity Force into Static Shiv, so we went with like the Lightning Cow. Whereas over in Korea it started out as more of just a, hey, you get the Trinity Force and then you just tank it up after that. So it's been transitioning into more of an ability power based top laner where you build sort of the tanky top lane items like a Gragas would, but your kit just works out so much better when you stack up those AP items, because you do scale off that, even if the scaling isn't that good. And with a lock-in on Gragas, Punishment's going to lock that in for Brand Zero. Brand Zero had a great game on Gragas, so it's a big question mark over that Cow. Excited to see how that matchup will work out, and no mysteries here. It's going to be a lock-in on maybe Corki to take that one away from Punishment, but of course Punishment already took his Tristana away. Maybe BM1 going to show him how it's done.
Yeah, and actually I'm really glad that this Alistar comes back into play, and not only in China but actually everywhere else, because it was such a massive champ like 2 years ago when Shushe was playing it in the middle lane, and it was first of all AD, then AP, then it got nerfed to pretty much nothing, and there we go, he comes back into the play. It will always find a place in the League of Legends, and it's such an interesting champion. You have the headbutt, so you can knock everyone away. You have the pulverize, so it's an AoE stun. You have the heal, you have the damage reduction. It's like a perfect champion to have right there.
Exactly, and the thing that's going to work out better is that with a lock-in on Kog'Maw, that... Alright, that's probably going to...
玩家朋友，欢迎回来！
欢迎回来。
那这里是由 QT 为您直播的英雄联盟德玛西亚杯职业锦标赛。那我是今天解说，我是胡林。
我是小玉。
那刚刚
其实我觉得每次都介绍一遍，你不觉得有点累吗？
不是，因为他每次打那个字幕的时候，就想说，哦，那我应该说一下。
那就是心里面有强迫症嘛，这算是。
对的，就因为他打字幕我看见了。然后刚刚也是在汉宫和 MD 就是前期非常平稳的一个。 对线发育之后，一波团战，感觉好像就改变了历史。
这样说吧，30分钟平稳发育，然后抓龙女一波 MD 15被汉宫拿大龙，然后一直就是说是凭借这条大龙建立起了一定优势之后，就开始进行一个压制性作战，最终就是直接是压制到。
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to
感觉有一点压抑，感觉还是有。
Our English coverage of the Demacia Cup here on LPLEN. Of course, brought to you in part by our friends at Games in Asia and Esports Heaven. My name is Rapid. I'm here with Nero, and we're hopping into our second game in our first best of 3 of the night. We're going to swap sides as Hangong Club come out of game number 1 victorious, and MD will look to take this one to a game number 3.
And having a Tristana is a big